I was sitting in the living room and my mom just put a video on, and it was a 6-year-old jumper prospect, and she showed it to me. And actually I didn't know at the time, this is like totally our relationship. She put the video on and was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "He's amazing." And she's like, "Good, because I bought him." Thinking back on it now, knowing so much more about the sport and how hard it is to find a horse that good and kind of achieve the goals we had set for him is kind of insane. We took him to Florida, and I was 13 at the time, so I was doing him in the children's jumpers, and he was young, and he had an amazing jump. I wouldn't say he had the biggest stride, but he was very careful and he jumped in a beautiful style. And so we kind of just grew up together. We went from children's jumpers, so when that was good, we moved up to the junior jumpers and then the highs, and then my first Grand Prix, and then it was time to go to young riders, so why not? And we did that. So when I was 15, I had an equitation horse, but we decided he wasn't the best to do at USET finals, so I took mid-accord there to do him there, and it was my first ever USET finals. My expectations were low. I didn't even know how the format worked. It had to be explained to me like a million times, and we ended up being third. So he was amazing, and he did it easily, but at that time I wasn't thinking like I should go to medal finals next week with him. I used my other horse, and he ended up getting sold, and I didn't have an equitation horse, and Florida was coming, and my mom and I were like, well, he did so well at USET finals, like, let's just make him an equitation horse, because why not? So at home, he was like a big, sweet teddy bear. He could be spooky at the show, but I think that's kind of what made him so good, is he was aware of everything. He had for sure had a problem with the water jumps and the liver pools, and it was like a constant battle, but he was also very strong, so if I tried to manhandle him or tell him he had to do it, I could never win that battle. So I had to be patient with him and let him kind of do it on his own time. I couldn't force him right away to go around and do it perfectly. I had to sacrifice a few classes over the years to make him into a horse that could win at a final. I went to the Hampton Classic when I was 15, and he stopped out. I got eliminated, and then he went back the next year and he won. So it was a horse that I for sure had to be patient and take my time with and not let him push my buttons, because I knew he had all the qualities. There's for sure times along the way where people that helped me were like, this horse isn't worth it, but I had never felt anything like I felt with him when everything went right. I'd spent so many years with him that I knew him like the back of my hand. I knew exactly what he was going to do and when he was going to do it, but then sometimes he'd still surprise me, which is what's so cool about this sport, is that they are animals, and just when you kind of think you have everything figured out, there's a surprise thrown in there. So it kept me on my toes, but he did WEF that year, and he went to Devon and was the Ronnie Much champion. And then he was second at USET finals, and then he won medal finals. Another plot twist, he turned into a derby horse, so when I couldn't do the equitation anymore and I had aged out and he was back from his injury, again, it was like, why not do him in a derby? He jumps well, he's handy, he's everything, and he was second in the first hunter derby I did him in. He was just a horse that could literally do everything. He was special. There was times where people that were helping me at the shows, they were like, this is so much work, but I believed in him, and I thought that if I put in the time and the work and believed in him, he would be what I thought that he would be, and he was more than I thought he would ever be, and special.